Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my channel. My name is Simon Akpadaka, a chartered accountant and a QuickBook Pro advisor. This afternoon, we are looking at the workflow as it relates to estimate and invoice. Often than not, people confuse estimate with invoice. So the goal of this afternoon is to clarify the difference between these two forms, and also to see the link between the two of them. So you're welcome to the channel. Do not fail to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Thank you. We shall be looking at what is an estimate and invoice as per their definition to set the tone for the discussion. Estimate is simply a quote issued to potential buyer who wants to have an idea of what it will cost him or her to buy your product or service. The potential buyer is not obligated to make a purchase even though he or she has collected the estimate. Invoice, on the other hand, is issued to a willing buyer who has expressed interest in your products and he or she is willing to pay for it. Invoice is issued for products or services to be rendered, or there is a strong hope that such products or services will be rendered. So basically, that is what invoice is, and we have also looked at what estimate is. So what are the differences? What differences do they have? At the difference between the estimate and invoice, at commitment level, estimate, neither the recipient nor the issuer has any legal obligation as for estimate, but as far as invoice is concerned, invoice is a legally binding financial document because it relates to services that are being rendered or commitment has been made that such service will be rendered. Another distinction is in terms of the accounting treatment. An estimate is a mere notation. It is not part of the ledger. It does not form part of the ledger account of the issuing entity. Whereas once an invoice is raised, payment is expected by the issuing entity. It is accrued for in the book of accounts as income and trade receivable in the book of the entity issuing the invoice. So those are the two differences that I've highlighted between estimate and invoice. If somebody expresses interest in your product and he just wants something for planning, you issue estimate. But once there is a willingness for the person to buy, you issue invoice. Invoice becomes a legally binding document between the two transacting party. So, what then is the link between estimate and invoice? Estimate can be converted to invoice once the order of the estimate indicates willingness to buy the goods and service, and they buy the goods or services. So we'll go into QuickBooks and try and see how we'll illustrate the use of estimate and invoice, and we'll see how we can convert estimate into invoice. This is a QuickBooks Online sample company I'm using this afternoon. So we can go into the navigation bar to the left and click on the plus new button there and create an estimate. We'll select the first company there, Amis Bed Sanctuary, and let's try and create an estimate for this client. Select the service you want to render from the list of services. Maybe perhaps it's a trimming service, and the price is $35, and we can actually generate this estimate now, having satisfied the condition. Save and close the estimate. Now that's estimate 1002 saved. From the having created the estimate, suppose the customer now calls back that he wants the service, we can actually create an invoice from that estimate. So we'll go to the plus icon, select on invoice, because we want to raise invoice now. Army Sanctuary, that's the client. Once you click on the client now, a box comes from the right to left, and it will show you the list of outstanding estimate that have been issued to this particular client. So which estimate are we actually interested in raising invoice? I think this is the most recent estimate, the one issued today or just now. That's a tree and shrub trimming. We can add it to the invoice. So that automatically converts that estimate into an invoice. And if perhaps from the outstanding estimate for this particular client, you still want to add other estimates, maybe the client has finally decided that he wants to do the maintenance and repairs, we can actually add that one to this invoice we are preparing now. Copy the line. So I've inserted the second estimate. We can also insert a third estimate that have been there pending since October 3rd. So that makes it like 3 estimates we are adding into one invoice now. So we have added 3 estimates. Now the sum comes to $510. If every other thing has been checked, the terms of payment is okay, net 30 days, and the billing address is okay, we can actually save and send this particular invoice to the client. You can say save and send. Let's try again. So that's it. We are about sending this invoice to the client. We have converted the estimate into invoice, and we are about to send it to the client. This is a demo company, and we are actually using the QuickBooks dummy email address for this demo. So send and close. So that's a preview of the invoice. You can then send and close the transaction. The email was not sent because it is actually a demo company. But this give us an idea of how we can actually convert estimates into invoice and send it to our client. Thank you very much for watching.